I'm Richard Porter.
I'm Johnny Smith.
And this is Smith and Sniff, a podcast in which two friends talk about cars and many other things.
I actually watched an old episode of Touch of Frost the other day, and I forgot he just tools around in a Ford Sierra in the early ones.
Does he?
And then he tools around in an early Mondeo.
Does he?
Yeah, he does, yeah. He's a Sierra driver in the early ones. Yeah, as a hatch. Base is 1.8 LS or some LX. Yeah.
Inspector Frost, was that what he was called in Touch of Frost?
Or DI, diesel injection Frost. Yeah.
Diesel injection. I always think that was
TDCI
DCI.
Frost came later, but we don't talk about it.
Yeah. A bit more efficient, but a lot of people said actually noisier. He
That's
was a
right.
noisier police
They
officer.
preferred the DI. I think they preferred the DI. Yeah.
Yeah, just keep it simple. They'll go on forever. Also,
TDI Frost.
He could investigate an entire murder or something while being run completely on chip fat.
Yeah, that's right. And typically, if he's from the old school, he'd leave the engine idling for the entire interview as well, because, you know, what's the point in shutting it off when you could just leave it going, which seems to be sort of old school behaviour with diesel engines. But, like coaches, they sit there idling when they're there for 15 minutes, people loading and stuff. Why don't you just shut the bastard thing off? I don't understand that. It
I had that
confuses
this morning, actually. There was someone idling a diesel engine on my street, and after a while it just started to really annoy me. I was like, what are you doing? Like 10 minutes or something, they were just idling it.
I don't like
Why?
it. Don't like it.
What are you doing?
No.
Yeah, it was a builder who had just left his van running. Just shut it off.
Well, I mean, I know it's. Is it like a grumpy old man thing? But I just feel like you should hold up a placard going, "Diesel is £1.60 a litre. Are you that rich?"
Apart from anything else, you're burning money, you prick.
Yeah, please stop being a stroker.
Hey, have you heard this thing about BMW police cars going wrong?
No,
But only police cars, yeah.
But
Lots of
only police cars.
Yeah, lots of police fleets. BMW have quite a big presence amongst the UK
Emergency
community.
vehicle fraternity.
Yeah. I once spoke to someone at BMW about it. I wasn't speaking to them about that originally, but it came up in conversation. I went, "Oh yeah, so what? That police business would be good for you. Like, you seem to have police cars everywhere these days." And he went, "Oh, it's a very interesting part of our business. Yeah, I could tell you all about it, but I can't." I'm like, "What?" He went, "Yeah, we don't really talk about it, but trust me, it's fascinating if you knew, but I can't tell you."
Oh my gosh,
that's not fair.
I want to know what's gone wrong with specifically police spec BMWs.
Well. So as much as I can gather, now this is based on last week, I just happened to see, I was completely unaware of this, although apparently it has been in the news a bit, but I happened to see on, I think it was Auto Express, ran a story. It was slightly strangely expressed story, or at least the quote from BMW was slightly strange, because it was sort of seeming to say, "Don't worry, punters, it doesn't affect you, only cops, so it's all fine." And it was a bit like, what? Why would it only affect police cars?
No,
As
why?
far as I can gather, I don't know what the specific problem is, but it seems like it might be affecting police cars because they sit idling for a long time, and then they'll suddenly do like a massive high-speed run.
Well, hang on.
And that combination of conditions, which no punter would really do, I suppose.
Or taxi driver, maybe. But no, they're always trying to save a bit.
But they wouldn't floor it, would they? I'm talking about like sort of, sitting there idling for half an hour, I don't know, outside a suspect's house or something. I'm not sure how the police do this stuff, but maybe. Then the perp, do they say that? Comes
not
out.
in Britain, no.
And it's an American one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
The suspect, that's it. They'd say suspect, wouldn't they? IC1 male gets into his car, realises he's being watched, and
Did you
bombs
say
off.
IC1 male?
IC1 male.
Is that
IC codes, aren't they?
It's internal combustion. See, the police is all about fuel. It's all about fuel.
I'm going to look this up. I don't know. Oh, identity code. It stands for IC, identity code.
Right. Okay.
And it's the way they refer to ethnicity.
See.
Maybe they don't. I don't know whether they do anymore, but they certainly used to. I only know this from watching The Bill. My entire knowledge of British policing is based on The Bill.
From sort of 80s and 90s dramas.
Yeah.
Cop dramas.
So, with, what's his name? DCI Burnside.
Tosh.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we used to
Tosh
call him
Lines.
Toss.
And there was a guy called Tony and a lady called June Ackland, who I've met, weirdly.
Have you?
Yeah. She's the mum of LaRue, the pop star.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Oh, that
and
is
I met her.
interesting.
I was hawking a book of mine by doing radio interviews, and I was sitting waiting to go into a radio interview at BBC Television Centre. And she was waiting to go and do a radio interview in a different studio. So we were sitting together in this little waiting area and we had a little chat. She was talking about, I think it was when they cancelled the bill. And she was
Oh my
into talk
gosh.
about
I like
She
LaRue.
was really nice.
Oh, well, I didn't expect to talk about that today.
that. Yeah, I like LaRue. Do you remember, quite recently she did that song called Automatic Driver, which I thought was tremendous.
Well,
You heard that one?
she's phobic of the third pedal, clearly, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. She just doesn't see the point in this day and age. You know?
No.
I think the album was called "What Next? You Want a Choke Back" or something. She's quite outspoken on these matters of technological
She's really,
progress
really pissed off. Yeah.
in automotive
What?
worlds.
What? Power steering? What are you? Some sort of pussy? Is that the next album?
Yeah. And this is the new one from LaRue. It's called "I Think You'll Find Electric Windows These Days Are Actually Lighter Than Manually Wound Ones."
Oh, she's gone down. Has Gordon Murray been producing her most recent record?
He's been
All the tracks are really short.
on the sliders.
Therefore, theoretically
to
lighter.
keep the weight down. Yeah.
Keep them light. Yeah. No heavy beats because they're too heavy. So therefore, always lighter. But it brushes on the drums if there's any drums. And,
How tall is Gordon Murray, by the way? Because I was watching your chat with him
He's tall.
on the Late Break Show, and I suddenly thought, he's even taller than I remember. Like, because you're what, 6'2", 6'3"?
Yes. Yeah, I am.
He's got to be 6'5", 6'6".
I think. I think he is actually. I think he could be Clarkson, or almost Clarkson height.
No, I think I mean, Clarkson's only he's 6'4", I think.
Oh, is he? I thought he was taller than that.
6'5". Maybe 6'5". He's a snadge taller than me, and I'm 6'3". But he's not, like, freakishly tall. Gordon Murray looked like a looming giant in that bit. It made you look really small, and I was like, but I know you're not small. So it's just like, he's just a big lad.
He is a tall
But
guy.
I don't
And of course
remember. I have met Gordon Murray, and I don't remember thinking, big lad.
He's theoretically shrunk as well, due to age.
Yeah.
He is a long one. He's very, very.
Well, unless
much
he's compensated for the shrinking effects of age with some kind of machine.
Is he gradually? I know he's taking a carpaccio of the sole of his feet off every month. So gradually,
the twits.
gradually reducing his overall height and therefore the weight as well.
Well, he must be annoyed with himself that he grew so tall and quite broad shoulders, because his frontal area is not as slippery as it could be. Yeah,
No.
He's presenting a bit of a high drag.
High drag shoulder line.
Body. Yeah, but I think I'm just now I'm thinking about this and thinking I met him years ago. I don't remember him being taller than me, but now obviously he is. So I'm warming to this idea that he designed some kind of carbon fibre rack, and every night he just gets on his own rack and stretches himself a little bit. For reasons that are yet to become clear, but
Composite rack.
Yeah.
Dear
It's beautifully designed. Lots of little turned aluminium handles and things.
Anyway, no unnecessary winglets or louvers. Absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
No, exactly. It's just everything for function, not for decoration. So I've just found this Auto Express story about BMW police car engines. It says an engine issue affecting BMW police cars in the UK is not something civilian owners need to be concerned about, the German manufacturer has confirmed. Just go, what? That already sounds suspicious.
It sounds like they've sabotaged cop cars almost.
Well, it does slightly, and I hope this isn't going to be one of these things that gives credence to that bollocks old idea that police cars are always highly tuned, and you're like, no, they're not.
No, they're just driven like hell.
They're driven like hell, but of course, BMW likes supplying police cars because it's good for their brand image. So, reassuring. Look, if the police use them, they must be good, kind of logic.
Yeah,
and they don't want members of the public seeing a broken down BMW police car, so they don't want to do anything that's going to stress the components more than they already are stressed, which is a lot from a cop car, I presume, because they're used hard and often. And so they're not going to tune up the engines because it'll knacker the gearbox or something. So I'm not sure that police cars have ever been tuned up for lots of reasons why not, but it's one of those old pub,
I think they've been
stories,
modified. I think they've been modified often with things like the strengthening of the suspension, because they sometimes have different suspension settings because they're half laden all the time or fully laden depending on what job they do.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We don't have like an extra 80 horsepower just sort of like squirreled away.
No.
There's none of that going on, sadly.
I know, but you still hear it, particularly from the old days. Yeah, my uncle's friend bought a Rover SD1, and when he checked under the bonnet, it had a 5.7 litre supercharged Chevrolet dragster engine in it.
Yeah.
No, it fucking didn't.
Yeah. And a shot of nitrous for those late night
yeah.
M62 runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says, this story says police forces across the country were told not to engage in high-speed pursuits in patrol cars fitted with BMW N57 engines, which is the straight six diesel.
Yeah.
Which is in X5s and 5 Series and all sorts.
Oh, I know why.
3 Series, I guess.
Yeah.
30Ds.
I know why this will be. I've just worked it out.
Yeah.
Have you noticed how when you're going around an urban area on a motorway or a ring road now, they reduce the top speed for pollution reduction?
Yeah.
So maybe it applies to the police as well. Even if you're in the midst of quite a heated chase, you still got to back off when you're going past a town and then back on afterwards to reduce sound and also air pollution. It's all about the particulates.
It's all about particulates.
It's all about the particulates, mate, isn't it?
It's a weird one, this, but anyway, it says, the BMW statement says, we've been working with the police for some time on a technical matter linked to a small number of special high-performance vehicles. The issue is associated with the particular way in which the police operate these high-performance vehicles. This unique usage profile puts extra strain on some components, and therefore BMW has specified a special servicing programme for these vehicles, but it's all a bit vague. I also kind of wish they'd released the statement from BMW, but in police speak. Because you know how the police talk in that weird way, don't they?
They do.
It's just BMW is proceeding in a westerly direction towards a solution to said problems. Over and out.
Solution to said problems. I know. I think we've touched on this on a previous podcast, but I've always wanted an ex-police car.
Really?
I think it wouldn't be underwhelming. I think it would still be exciting. Yeah, but I'd almost rather have an undercover one than a full patrol spec. Just because I don't know, you just want to imagine the stories that it could tell if it could speak. I would like one. I have to say, I've thought about it. A friend of mine's knows of a Cavalier V6. Pursuit police car that's sitting in a shed and has been since the 90s, and I'm like, oh, that sounds ace. Have a go on that.
Proceed in a westerly direction to have a look at that.
Do you remember if you have to haggle the sale of an ex-police car, do you have to talk in police style speak?
Yeah.
Exactly. I've observed.
I have proceeded to
I've observed the suspect's request for monies and decided.
Till the seller goes, I will sell you the car, but please stop referring to me as the suspect. It's really insulting. Speaking of V6 things, were you aware that in I guess the early 2000s, Toyota did a Japan-only version of the Auris, the medium-sized hatchback that once again became the Corolla.
Yeah,
they did a version of it with a V6.
What? It's a really small car for a 6.
I know.
Was it a weak 6?
I think it was just that sort of generic, like 2.5 litre V6 that Toyota probably make like 1 billion of a year or something.
Camry motor.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and it is, and it's 2.
I feel like I need to know more about this. It could be the sort of easy listening sleeper.
The reason I bring this up is because I saw one this morning.
What?
And it was called the Toyota Blade. It wasn't called the Auris or the Corolla. And it was Japan only, but I saw this slightly weird looking Auris, and then because it's got sort of different front and back end, but it's clearly an Auris nonetheless, that sort of blobby shaped one this was.
I prefer the name Blade.
blade.
Yeah, it was a Wesley
to wear
Snipes.
wraparound sunglasses.
Yes. Do you know? Yeah, what's that?
I always think that we should do. You know, I said to you before, I wanted to do a glossary on our Patreon of all stuff that we talk about, so that people who have missed in jokes can just catch up. But also, I think we should do things that Smith and Sniff like and don't like, as a house stance on certain things, and wrap around sunglasses is in the don't like side of things.
No. Well, it was. I'm trying to remember all the conversations we've talked about. It was about people that are really accomplished runners, wasn't it? Normally, the better the runner, the shitter the sunglasses they're wearing.
True fact.
Yeah, they look like those ones that you go skydiving in.
Yeah,
you know the ones I mean. You know the ones?
Yes, I do know the ones you mean. Orange lenses.
Yeah, and they.
But the thing
awful.
is, there's an excuse there, because you wouldn't want to skydive without glasses on
No.
or goggles, would you? That would be bad.
No, it would be awful.
But
it would be awful.
did you know Chris Evans doesn't need glasses anymore?
Doesn't he?
He had his eyes done. He just wears the glasses because he doesn't look like him without the glasses.
When did he have his eyes lasered, I presume?
Yeah, I guess so. A few years ago.
Shit.
But then he was a bit like,
Very
but everybody
interesting.
knows me for wearing. I'm a famous glasses wearer, so
Yeah.
So
I had my eyes done.
yeah, I know. Because I always thought about it, and
Yeah.
I was just too much of a scaredy cat. But everyone I know who's had it done says it's brilliant.
It's really good. It took me a while to recover, longer than most people, but it was one of the best things I've ever spent my money on, apart from some fairly obvious cars. But no, I saw it as an investment in my eyes. However, night driving now is starting to feel like one of my eyes is itchy, like a little bit irritated. And I did a sort of like blokey eye test where I drove with one eye for a couple of seconds, and then I tried the other eye just to see if it was any good. And
did you do optician voice to yourself?
better one,
or worse?
better one,
Better or
better
worse?
two,
Yeah.
or better
Yeah.
if I take it away. And I'm like, well, it's actually better if I take it all away.
Is that better or worse? Well, it's worse because you're covering both my eyes with a ring binder.
No, is it better now? No, you've just put deep heat with your thumb into my eye. Definitely worse. I think that's
Just
universally
flicked a
known.
blob of Tabasco at me, you twat.
You're flicking Thai curry at me. You know this, don't you? This is nothing to do with the eye test. Yeah, so I do feel, actually, I'm ashamed to admit, I reckon I'm at least a year overdue on an eye test, if not 18 months. And I might need, I don't know, I might need something. I mean, I used to wear glasses and also contacts, but I don't know whether I've now gone, I'm over the brow of the hill of success with my laser eye surgery. And I did have it a long time ago, a good, probably 13 years ago, 12 years ago. So I've had a good innings, but I do worry that I might now need to replace all the windscreens in my car with specialist windscreens. That's the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, bifocal windscreen.
Yeah, you have to go to Screensaver, and what they do is they kick out the old
Should
one.
have gone to screensaver.
Yeah, exactly. And that's they go, no, this is rubbish. And just before you say, please don't damage this windscreen, it's completely obsolete, you won't find another one, they just back kick it out, and then they go, it's all right, we'll order another one. It's like, no, you don't understand. That's what I just said. You can't get another one. You've ruined my car. It's a bit like that Volvo 262 Bertoni that I used to have. The value in the screen is enormous because it's not the same
Really?
windscreen as a Volvo 240. Different
No.
A-pillar angle, different bendiness, curvature of screen.
And presumably there's no new old stock left or something, so you sort of...
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
screen.
I sometimes fantasise that one of the ladies from ABBA, I don't know, has a sideline in Volvo e-commerce of dusty new old stock bits, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
Agnetha's Volvo warehouse.
I can't confirm or deny because maybe they have, but I'm pretty sure they don't. So it's a real shame. Actually.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about windscreen replacement just the other day because one of my neighbours has got a Tesla. They've just got a new Model 3.
Yeah.
And looking down upon it from my bedroom window, I noticed it's got a big screen on it, that car.
It's got an enormous
tall
screen. It goes down really low to the point where next time you watch one coming towards you the other way, I swear the windscreen, the waistline dips so low you can see the knees of the driver.
Yeah.
I reckon it's that low.
It definitely feels like you can see an abnormal amount of the occupants from head on. Yeah,
it's like a plunging neckline on a sort of woman's evening dress that's slightly risque. It almost fits. It plunges that low. I feel it's a very oddly proportioned cabin. It's probably. Yeah. I think a lot of people probably like that about it. I don't know. I feel like it's plunged a little low for me.
Yeah, well, I wonder how much a replacement screen is. Because screens get cracked, don't they, by stones and stuff. So I was thinking, I bet that's pricey.
I bet it is.
The other thing about my neighbour's new Tesla is that, you very accurately described the noise that some electric cars make as Choir of the Dead.
Oh, yes. We're coming to get you, we're going to steal you. It's Trapped Souls. It's the choir of Trapped Souls.
Well, that bloody Tesla, I think it's when it reverses, it goes, ooh. And my neighbour has a habit of getting up and going out quite early, I've discovered, because usually I get sort of slightly unsettled by it around 7 o'clock in the morning.
Do they reverse their way to work on purpose?
Yeah.
Just to freak people out.
This is a growing problem because now he's got the Tesla. Ooh. Two of our neighbours have got Kia Niros. Bing.
Oh, they're
bing,
very distinctive.
Bing when they back up.
Yeah.
And again, one of our neighbours with a Niro seems to go out quite early, and so you just get a brief bit of binging as they back up to get out of a space, but it's enough to go, oh, for fuck's sake. And
it is quite distinctive. Yeah. It
really cuts through, which I presume is the point. It's not spooky; it's just irritating. The Tesla is spooky.
Yeah, there's almost. I know it's a Korean car, the Kia, but it's almost sort of Japanese import style, having some sort of audible reversing warning like that. Yeah. It sounds to me like the politest of delivery lorry drivers, because the lorries, they go boop, lorry's reversing, boop, the lorries are reversing, boop, and or they have another one which. And I think a lot of heavy plant have it, which is designed so the sound doesn't carry if you're working on a building site. It's a localized sound. It's a
that sort of
it's like a crunch sound, and I always wondered why they did that, and it's so that the sound doesn't carry; it stays local, so that on a building site or an industrial estate, you don't confuse it with another emergency situation or an alert, because if there's lots of heavy plant moving, it's that one because you're next to it. Interesting, hey? So it's more of a crunch than a sing.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I know what you mean. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I thought it was localized, so it's not annoying because you're going to be hearing it all day. But I suppose the safety takes precedence.
Yeah, it's a sort of UK garage of reversing sounds, isn't it? Really, compared to the choral setup.
I would say it's more sort of like 8-bit synth.
Oh, it is a bit
crunchy,
actually.
A sort of crunchy lo-fi sound. Yeah.
Actually, funny you should say that, because I have actually got an accessory that I'm going to add to my Tokyo Taxi Cedric, which a kind viewer of the Late Break Show has offered to me. That came in on another Japanese import car, and it's somebody talking. It's a spoken warning reversal.
Yeah, we've talked about this before,
did we?
Yeah, we did, and I found a recording of this device and stuck it on the end of the show. I can't remember which number podcast, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
Sorry, forgive me. I forgot that I'd already repeated it because
it's a very good.
Still excites me.
No. Because I can't speak Japanese. So, what were we talking about before that? Christ knows.
We're talking about police cars, BMW police cars.
Oh yeah, police cars. Well, anyway, so yeah, apparently, if you have a BMW with the N57 diesel engine in it, don't worry unless you're a police officer. In which case, bad news, Inspector. You can't do any high-speed chases in it anymore. Apparently.
Oh no.
Do you ever? I was thinking N57. I had to sort of. I was like, hang on a minute. It's because BMW engines always used to be M's, didn't they?
They did.
The engine codes.
Yeah.
And now they've switched to N, and then have they moved on from that as well? I can't remember because I used to know. Can you keep abreast of BMW car codes now?
No.
I've totally lost grasp of them. I used to, it's an E30. Well, of course, that's an E39, my friend. Nothing now. I have to sort of double check because they've
they're on Fs. They're Fs, aren't they? Or they're Gs.
They've gone to G now.
They're G now. See, there we
they
go.
Exhausted F so quickly. They had E for years and years and years, and then because they're just launching so many cars now, I guess they ran through the Fs really fast and they're on to Gs. But I can't. Someone said to me the other day, they went, "Oh well, it was a G10," and I was like, isn't that a plane? And then it turns out
fly like a G6.
Yeah,
although it is a Pontiac as well, isn't it? The G6, I think. I think it was. I think it was a Pontiac. It might have been the one that.
Oh yes,
the rebadged Holden Monaro. I think when that went over to the States, which was a really good car. That was the GTO.
That was the G8, wasn't it?
Was that a G8? I'm getting.
It was the Monaro was the GTO, and then the
sort of the civilian, not civilian version. I'm sounding like a policeman again. But
so what we knew is the VXR8.
That's right.
The kind of what was it? I want to say TWR, and it wasn't. It was what are they called?
Not Triple
Holden Special V, HSV.
Oh, HSV, yeah.
The HSV version of the Commodore.
HST or HRT.
Yeah, HS2.
It's the Holden.
Yeah. That's why they closed it down, because so many people protested.
Oh, yeah, Australians are up in arms about the hormone replacement therapy range that car manufacturers did offer and now don't. Yeah, it's a real shame. Real shame. I was thinking the other day, when they released all the sales figures of new cars in Britain, did you see the one? It was about Alfa Romeo. I forget how. I'll dig out the exact stats, but Alfa Romeo sold a very low amount of cars, like 1,500 cars in a whole year. Yeah.
It's piss poor, isn't it?
It's very poor, and it's a shame because that quadrifoglio, or even the normal Giulias, I do think are gorgeous, but the green colour that you get the top one in, that I've forgotten, that is it an N or an R? I can't remember the extra. I forget what it is. I'm being
what you mean
to sound like someone
GTA?
That doesn't know anything about cars. Yeah, like the GTA. And it's
GTA M.
It's a GTA M. There you go. I knew it was another additional letter. But that thing looks stunning. But I noticed that Smart sold even fewer cars than Alfa Romeo, which did surprise me a bit, because what with Smart being actually a sort of fit for purpose car for a lot of people. But yeah, because Smart are doing that. They're doing that collaboration, and the next Smart is going to be a collab, isn't it, with the Chinese.
Geely, isn't it, or Geely?
It is Geely, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Which is interesting because they've got their fingers in many.
Yeah, it's going to be Geely. Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, so Mercedes-Benz are playing with Geely. Geely own Polestar, Volvo, London Electric Vehicle Company, Lotus, and they're investing heavily, and they're going to be selling smartphones, I think, from next year.
What?
Yeah, they're going big in the smartphone world. So I guess they're using they want to invest in the tech of smartphones, and I reckon that will trickle through into being embedded in cars or integrated with cars, and it's all linked, isn't it? With the old, it's all linked with the old lidar, cruise control,
lidar.
Yeah,
it's
like radar,
your Internet
lidar,
of Things.
Dada, woo-wah, sha-sha. It's all in there. It's all got the bells and whistles. I can't stand it when people say the bells and the whistles. Oh, it's all fully loaded. It's got the bells and whistles. Yeah.
I don't want bells and whistles. Why would I want a whistle in my car? That's stupid. Has it got heated seats? No, just loads of bells, mate.
Yeah, well, you got a motorcycle just covered in bells. You look like some sort of like shit mod.
Yeah, just what are you doing, you hippie tits? Take all those bells off your motorbike.
Yeah, no, but
it might make quite an interesting noise if you accelerated hard.
That'd be so distracting. Imagine how distracting that would be. You're just like, you're going to nail it, and you've got 140 bells tinkling around you.
Well, also, if you were an adventurous and brave rider who gets their knee down, you'd scrape your bells along along the surface of the roads.
You're scraping your
Sparks
bells.
coming off your bells as you absolutely pinned it across the Cat and Fiddle.
Do you think that's what was it? Was this the kind of the losers of the mod era? You know, like the Betamax versus VHS era war. Was
Yeah.
it the same in mods that just isn't very well documented? Did you have the bells and the whistles, and they were arch enemies of one another? You had a load of motorbikes covered in bells and a load of scooters covered in whistles.
And everyone just realised that it sounded bloody awful.
You're like,
and,
guys, A, you all look like twats. B, you're wasting your money. You're going to your hardware shop every weekend with your hard-earned money to buy yet another whistle or a bell. It's just tedious.
Did the whistles activate? Were they mounted on the handlebars in such a way that as you rode, they sort of...
Or it could be one of those exhaust mounted whistles, so the more you rev the engine, the more it whistles. That was a thing, wasn't it? An exhaust whistle. It was a period accessory in the 70s or the 60s. It was a terrible idea for cars.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen the adverts for it. I think it's for cars, not motorbikes. But
why would anyone want such a thing?
I don't know. You'd have to be an absolute meat whistle to even consider it being a good idea, wouldn't you?
Now, speaking as we were about the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadro Formaggio.
Yes. Quadro Fromage.
Have a guess what you can have one of those for now. They were, what, a 70 grand car, I think, weren't they? Still are, I suppose.
They probably were, late 60s, yeah. I haven't even looked. How long have they been out? 3 years? No more than that, have they? 4 years?
No, a bit more than that. I think they've been out for about... Oh, hang on, wait. So, were they out in about 2017? Something like that.
Okay.
Well, actually, I can tell you. So what I've done is I've gone on Auto Trader.
You've just done that as we've been talking, haven't you?
Yeah, like a ninja.
I bet you there isn't a podcast that goes by when I'm trying to talk to you about something not deeping or meaningful, and you're going straight on The Trader.
Yeah,
clicking
almost constantly.
Or Car in Classic or eBay.
VAT. So, well, according to this, actually, there's an advert here for a brand new Giulia Quadrifoglio, which they say that it claims the RRP is 71,749.
Shiitake mushrooms.
They will sell you this one. Wilson's Fiat of Epsom apparently will sell you one for 63,995, brand new. But I think it was 2017 it came out because all the cheapest ones here are all 2017 reg. But the cheapest, it's Cat S. Cheapest Quadrifoglio is £35,500.
Gosh, what mileage are we talking?
Well, 13,000 miles.
Is that all?
But it's Cat S, so some reason there's something going on there.
What is Cat S? Does that mean it's shit? Cat shit? Does it stand for cat shit?
What did it used to be? A cat shit.
I know what happened. Someone accidentally shut the door, and the neighbours in Cat had gone in, and it got left there for 12 hours, and it's just liberally soiled the seats. And then the insurance company, as far as they're concerned, are like, well, that's a Cat S, that is. That's just, it's full of cat wee and cat. Talking of which, so annoying. Someone accidentally shut the door in our house when I was away, my wife was away, and the cat couldn't get out. And I came home in about midnight, hanging, really, really tired after a job. And you know when you just want to get into bed? Well, guess whose side of the bed was soaked through with tomcat piss?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Good old Johnny. Johnny's bed was riddled with what my brother refers to as the animal kingdom's battery acid. It's absolutely awful. Yeah. I'm saying that because he stood next to me. He stood next to me, purring away, and I'm like, yeah, but why did you wee on the bed? Of all the places to choose to waz, why did you rinse your kidneys on my bed? I just wish you hadn't. You absolute swine.
Yeah.
But
we used to have a family cat that if it ever got stuck in the house and it couldn't get to its litter tray, it would go upstairs to the bathroom and it would shit in the bath mat and then scrunch it all up. I presume it's the closest thing it could find that it could scuff up, because they love to conceal a turd, don't they? They're not.
Yeah, is it a tumble twist?
Was it what?
A tumble twist bath mat. You know the ones that look like sort of dreadlocks? Is it one of those?
Oh, no,
old school
not quite. Yeah, no, it was old school because this was in the 80s, but no, it wasn't tumble twist. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, that's what my mum used to call them, unless she's been lying to me all these years. In which case, next she'll tell me that cat S doesn't mean cat shit at all.
I was thinking actually a Cat S Alpha, the biggest problem wouldn't be the cat shit, it'd be all the scratch marks on the back seat where the cat had tried to bury its own feces using the exquisite leatherwork of
the Italian leather would
Alfa
have been
Romeo.
Shredded. Well, then that contributes towards the Cat S, doesn't it? So it's that.
I suppose so, yeah. It doesn't just mean actual little catalogue that's left in there. If you don't want a Giulia Quadrifoglio that's been used as a cat bathroom, there's one that's apparently legit with 75,000 miles on it for 35,975. So they are,
that's good value,
half price effectively now if you're interested in those. They're lovely cars.
They are lovely cars. Every time I post something about them on Twitter, which I don't do regularly, but when I do, I get a cluster of owners who have got them saying how much they like them. Maybe they're the best modern Alfa Romeo we know, and yet people that by this point don't trust them, or they're hung up on the whole residual thing, and they're like, no, I'm not buying that. But yet the people that do own them love them. Which is interesting, because actually I've got a video going out. In fact, the video will be out by the time you listen to this, on the Late Break Show, about a guy who has a little cluster of interesting cars, and I went to meet him, and that the catalyst for him being interested in cars was the fact that his dad was a habitual buyer of Alfa Romeo Alfa Suds. And he's bought another one as well as a load of other interesting cars. But yeah, the Sud, and I do like a Sud, I have to say.
They have a lovely crisp exhaust note, don't they? But sort of fruity.
They do. That lovely Boxer motor with the inboard disc brakes. Yeah, there's a lot to like about it. The Sud was an engineering masterpiece. What did I hear the other day? I heard something with a terrible whistle going by. What was
David
it?
Albarn.
Yeah, I was in the left-hand lane, and someone overtook me, but they did it. You know when people overtake you at about 1 or 2 miles an hour more than what you're doing, and you're probably both on cruise control, so therefore and you can't be asked to squeeze the throttle or back off, so you just sit there and just let it happen, and it's like a very slow race. They had some sort of, I know what it was. It was a tradesman's van with one of those roof tubes. I think they call them a rhino tube, which just sounds like an animal's arsehole. But anyway, it was a rhino tube on the roof.
You're sticking up your rhino tube, mate.
I tell you what you could do with that quote, mate. You could put that in your rhino tube. And it was whistling like hell. But I think they were leaning on the van's throttle to get it through, because it was a windy time. There was, I don't know, insert name of the most recent storm that we've had in the UK through Hurricane.
Oh yeah, there was a big one, wasn't there, last week? So
Hurricane Spam Stroke, or whatever it was called.
Hurricane Higgins.
Yes, that's right. Hurricane Schmurricane, whatever. And the van was properly going.
I thought it was quite. We've talked before about how Damon Albarn has that distinctive whistle.
A little bit of mouth whistle, tooth whistle.
Got a kettle going in there.
So, it was building a new studio.
But of all of the other musical artists to get into a spat with, he chose Taylor
Swift.
And then the worst thing was he then had to say sorry.
Oh, did he?
Sorry. Yeah, he apologised. Well, he sort of apologised. But he shouldn't have said it in the first place. It was a bit of a knobhead comment. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Love you, Damon. Big Blur fan.
Taylor's cool.
Everyone knows that Taylor Swift writes her own songs because she's good at it in that.
She's good in that. And talking of Blur, Blur's one of those bands which I loved. We talked about this on WhatsApp the other day. I was the first person in my school to get Blur's debut album, Leisure.
Were you?
Yeah, I was very proud of it. And used to listen to Blur to pieces. Loved it. Loved Modern Life is Rubbish, all the other albums. And I remember when Part Life came out, which is probably their biggest album, I remember the video of Part Life featuring a Granada Coupe.
Yes.
And And that cemented, like, I knew they'd gone mainstream, so I was a bit upset about how mainstream the music had gone, but it brought it back to me. They redeemed themselves with a Roman bronze Granada Coupe, because it's such a good-looking car.
Yeah.
Such a handsome thing. I've got to scratch that itch. I really have
You should.
to. I know, I really want to.
Are they expensive now? I suppose it's finding one.
They are
isn't it?
expensive.
Probably the hardest part.
Survivors, yeah, because they still get bang erased, so the survivors go up in value. You know, it's a bit like when you're on the market for a white rhino. You know, unfortunately they keep getting killed, so the ones that are still alive are worth more.
Yeah.
And, that is the fate of the granny. But I'd quite like to buy a European one. I'd quite like to get, not because I love left-hand drive, but because you can get more for your money off of other countries and all that. So
when I was little, if I ever saw a brown Granada Coupe, apparently I used to call it a Bernard car, because when I was very little, we had a neighbour called Bernard, and he had a brown Granada Coupe.
Bernard in the brown Granada.
And it fits, doesn't it? I've just remembered that, but Bernard is a very Granada Coupe sort of name.
It is actually. I quite like. There aren't any young men called Bernard, are there?
No, Bernard Butler would be about the youngest person I could think of, and Bernard Sumner at a New Order, who is actually not that young anymore.
It's actually
Well, you know, it's Bernard Butler, I suppose, but
they're not young Bernards.
Young Bernards. It's quite a good name for a band, actually.
Bernard.
Yeah. Coming up later, Young Bernards.
What about Bernhard? Bernhard sounds it obviously a little bit more
Bernhard.
Euro.
Yes, hello, I am Bernhard.
You see, Bernhard.
Who's ready to burn hard with Bernhard?
For sure, we burn hard
Germany's
today.
biggest. He's like Germany's Joe Wicks, isn't he?
Oh, Bernhard. Yeah.
Personal training videos.
Bernhard Vixer. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's, today we go maximum.
1, 3, 4.
Maximum attack here on the glutes and the arms. Here we go hard, guys. Let's go. Let's do this.
Okay, let's take this to the sweaty zone. He's always doing workouts to really fast songs, like Holding Out for a Hero. Too fast, really.
Really chaotic, happy hardcore. You're like, Bernard, it's just too fast.
It's too bit. This is from my new compilation album, Burn Happy Hardcore.
Burn Happy. You're like, listen, Bernhard, you must understand. 180 BPM is too much. It's simply too much.
And you're trying to do burpees to that.
Can't do
Bernhard.
burpees to
It's
180.
medically dangerous.
We're all going to pass away. For sure.
For sure.
Are
you imagining, as I am, that he wears one of those sweatbands around his head?
He completely wears one of those sweatbands, but he also has the sort of tracksuits that foreign exchange students would have had when we were growing up at school, which was slightly different. You know, your Le Coq Sportif or Sierra Tacchini or whatever it was called, which we didn't maybe get so many of. We were more, Nike, Puma, Adidas, etc.
Yeah.
Whereas they would go for hang on a minute, what have they got here? The Sergio Tacchini. That looks a little bit exotic. I quite like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a sort of cuff ankle.
Benetton, a Benetton tracksuit.
Or a Benetton tracksuit.
How very Euro.
How very inflammable you look today.
Well, that's it. I'm sort of imagining that Bernhard eventually dies, not from heart failure as everyone expected, but because he generates so much heat in a highly flammable tracksuit, he just spontaneously combusts while doing a live stream.
What is it? Is it so much friction? Is it a bit like striking a match on a box?
Oh, it's the static, yeah.
It just can't take any more. It just fizzles.
Yeah, like a Roman candle. Hey, Euro tracksuit starts going up.
I like that.
The viewers are just helpless. They can't do anything. They're all trying to desperately message him on the YouTube, sidebar thing. Bernhard, you're on fire. Oh, danke schön. Yes, keep going.
For sure, we keep pushing. Maximum attack. Yes, maximum heart attack. Is that? It's not quite the sort of rally vibes I was going for, Bernhard, if that's okay. Bernhard would not drive a Granada Coupe, though, would he? No.
Oh, no.
He's a Manta guy, isn't he? Is he Manta?
Oh, yes. All white Manta with white wheels.
With an Ermshire grill.
For sure, yes.
He'd love an Ermshire grill, for sure, because it matches the stripes on his tracksuit.
And with side skirts as well, I think.
Side skirts,
Probably a side skirt. Full Ermshire yeah. Front splitter, side skirts, and a spoiler.
Umska just sounds like one of the dance partners on Strictly Come Dancing. You know, the professional ones.
Now, taking to the floor, it's Greg Wallace and Umska Body Kits.
It's Umska Side Skirt. That's who it would be. Umska Side Skirts. And then at the end, you know, she's being interviewed and they're sort of panting because they've just done a really energetic routine. And she's like, yeah, I really enjoy it. Greg did ever so well. And some complicated moves for sure, difficult and technical. And we trained for many hours. And
I'm so proud of him. They're always a bit breathless, aren't they? Well, I mean, understandably.
Umska Side Skirt, yeah. She's amazing when it comes to work ethic.
Then inevitably is there more to it than dancing, as the tabloids pap? It's Greg Wallace spotted having a romantic coffee with dance partner Umska Sideskirt in a fashionable West London boutique. There's no... I won't say that. No, I'm not going to say that. There's no speculation at all. It's famous person caught stood completely naked in the window of a hotel room. Rinsing themselves off with the other person stood in a chair watching. Yeah, what could possibly be going on here? You have to cut that out. I think we can't put that in. Probably too bad. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I don't. I've got a cat claw in my legs while I'm talking because I've shut him in the room and he's distracting me, and I'm worried he's going to wazz on the curtains.
I was going to say this is his revenge for you bad mouthing him earlier on.
It is, but he's like that. He's got his snaggle tooth out. He keeps looking at me with a bit of side eye, you know.
Cats do good side eye.
Cats do amazing side eye. It's when they roll around and they have fun, and then they suddenly get a pang of self-consciousness. That's the thing that cats are amazing at. It's just brilliant.
Just sit up very straight and start washing themselves in a sort of overly casual way.
Oh yeah. Do you think Bernhard, the Maximum Attack fitness trainer guy, do you think he would have some Ronald teddy bear wheels, or would that be a step too far?
Ooh.
Maybe if he does, PE with Joe.
PE
with Joe during lockdown, he was obviously appealing to children, trying to get them activated and interested in general fitness. Maybe Bernhard decides to copy, really, Joe's decision. He goes for the youth vote, gets himself some Ronald teddy bears as a talking point in the background of his videos. Because, of course, his fitness studio is all glass. It's just a glass box in the garden. And you can see the white kitted manta just out on the block paving drive. And have you noticed in Germany, everyone has block paving drives and there's no weeds anywhere? There was immaculate block paved drives. My friend,
really?
Yeah,
my
friends often said to me that a lot of German houses look like they are made of Playmobil because everything's so immaculate and pristine. It doesn't look like it's bricks and mortar.
You're not allowed to wash your car on some days in some places in Germany. Is that right?
It's definitely the case in Switzerland. It might be the case in Chamonix as well, actually. Yeah.
This is one of these. This is the classic bloke down the pub. Well, the thing about Germans is they don't let you wash your car if it's like an hour with the two in it. And it's not. I'm sure there are rules. There was some. A friend of mine used to live in Cologne, and there was a rule there that you weren't allowed to have, I think, more than one barbecue a month.
What?
And I was like, well, who's counting? And he went, well, your neighbours will tell on you if you do. And I was like, what if you invite your neighbours round for a barbecue? He said, they'll still tell on you.
What, they have the barbecue? So I really enjoyed that sausage.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. I'm just going home to ring the authorities.
To alert the authorities.
I do apologise to any listeners in Germany. Please do write in and correct our casual xenophobia and shaky grasp of Germanic law. The address is hello@smithandsniff.com.
Yeah.
And please do mark your email, Schweinhund.
Pig dog. It's always my favourite. It's such a basic insult, isn't it? Pig dog.
Oh, Dumpkopf. I had to look up how to spell Dumpkopf the other day, which I think is quite good as well.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It just means stupid head, doesn't it? I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to have to look it up again now. To check.
I know Stengelmund, which I think means penis mouth. That's about the only thing I can remember. But I'm sure a German listener can correct me on that. But I remember that being something that was bandied around a few times. Trying to think of another one now. Another hit German insult, but I can't think of one.
I can't do. I'm not good at German. I can only say meine Schwimmwagen ist die Ecke.
It's around there.
My amphibious car is around the corner.
That's right. It does mean that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I forgot you learnt German, didn't you, at school? Like properly?
I did. I did French for a year, and then I did German for the whole 5 years of secondary. And my daughter still doesn't believe that I don't know any French. She thinks I'm playing a trick on her. I said, no, I chose German. I didn't do French, so you had the choice, and I chose German. And I chose German solely, and I remember this vividly. My brother's 2 years older than me. He'd already started doing German at secondary school, and he said, don't bother learning French. He said, because, the German industry is just far superior to the French industry. German engineering is far superior. It's just a better economy. Learn German. And I went, yeah, okay. And that was it. That was the sole decision. Older brothers having such influence with such throwaway words.
It was funny because a mate of mine didn't do French at school because he did Spanish. But when he first told me, in fact, he told me when we were on holiday in France. And I had the same reaction. I was like, bollocks.
Yeah, because everybody does.
Everybody did. I thought you had to. And he went, no, I did Spanish.
I very much enjoyed German at school.
It's quite a nice sort of logical-ish language, isn't it? I know they do masculine.
Daddy Das, yeah, they do all that. Fishes, or yeah. But no, I very much
Daddy
enjoyed
Das.
it. Daddy Das, yeah.
Daddy Das, they made tracksuits in the 80s as well.
Yeah, yes, they did, yes. But unfortunately, Adidas won that battle, so...
Yeah.
If you can find one now, it's an extremely rare garment. Yeah.
He was Mr. Adidas was German, wasn't he?
Yeah, Adidas is a German brand. Yeah.
He was called Adolf, wasn't he? That's where the ad bit comes from.
No, I don't know that.
And but obviously that's a name that became extremely unfashionable in Germany, much like Bernard did here, but for different reasons. And so they don't, Adidas don't really sort of crow about the origins of their name.
Yeah, Adolf's not such a cool name these days. No, I'm the Adidas brand, very much West German. Maybe Der Das was the East German competitor that not a lot of us got to hear about.
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
Do you think they were sort of like Tatra to Adidas's Volkswagen?
Yes, I think you're absolutely
actually they had a lot of the ideas that were then just shamelessly cribbed.
I think you're absolutely right. Blimmin' hell, I love a bit of Tatra. Would you have a Tatra?
Yes,
I would.
I've driven one once.
Have you?
Yeah,
you absolute
only briefly.
Schweinhund. Stengelmund.
Yeah, I drove what was it? It was a 603,
which was the cool one, right? The one that looks like a sort of tram.
It's got that sort of very rounded nose,
yes,
and
double headlights,
almost covered back wheels.
V8 Hemi at the back.
One. Yeah,
what a thing.
V8 at the back. Really, it had a column manual change.
Amazing.
Which is an unusual.
Did it have wool seats? I think it had wool upholstery.
I don't remember. Maybe it did. Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. This one was black as well.
Oh gosh!
And which apparently was the black ones were often used by the secret police and things.
I was going to say
it had a sort of sinister edge to it as well.
Iron curtain spec.
And very soft. I remember it, but very soft suspension, I think, and it was quite charming. I only drove it briefly, but I just always wanted to try one, and it was nice. It felt very sort of well made.
Did it?
And like well engineered. Yeah, it just sort of felt sort of quite like everything was made from metal. No plastic, nothing cheap, just all sort of good, properly engineered metal stuff everywhere.
See, the Tatra very much appeals to me, and I feel like it's the car I do need to own. And if I did own it, maybe I could rid my yearnings for a Porsche. I could sell my Beetle, and I could get rid of my Dodge Charger, because almost the Tatra combines all of those things together. You've got your V8 if you like American car shizzle. You've got an engine right at the back if you like Porsches and Beetles and stuff. And it's curvy like a Beetle. Yeah. So therefore it's like you've ticked all those boxes with some sort of mad communist spec executive car. I feel like if there's any listeners who have had or driven in or got an experience of a Tatra, please get in touch. But not the really late one that looks like a Bristol that's been involved in a slow accident, because I really haven't got any interest in those. But the curvy ones, the aero wind tunnel spec ones, amazing.
I mean, I'd give some time to one of the later ones that, like you say, just look like something, a Bristol spin-off. But just because they've still got the interesting engineering, but yeah, they're not pretty, are they?
Well, I saw someone. So there's on Twitter. There's always somebody or on Instagram that does street spots. Seeing this in London. It's always an interesting, quirky car. I mean, you do it as well, actually. Someone had done a Bristol the other day and went, "Oh, look at this!" And it's the one that has the Vauxhall Senator rear lights, which I can't remember which Bristol that is. Is it a Blenheim?
Yeah, a Blenheim.
A late Blenheim, 80s Blenheim, or probably 90s actually.
Well, I think all the Blenheim. But yes, anyway, with the Senator split rear lights. Yeah.
And I saw this picture, and people were commenting, and I genuinely were like, I'd rather have a really clean Senator with those lights. I really would. I honestly would. I have no early Bristols. I get it. The aeroplane derived engineering, the over engineering, the aerodynamics, lighter weight stuff. That's all great. But the later ones, I just feel they're a little bit delusional. I don't know. I just feel like it was ridiculous. And pointless.
Have you ever seen the one-off Blenheim that was made for a customer that had Audi A4 Avant taillights instead of Senator ones? And it was sort of the body was actually modified, sort of smoothed out a bit, and it just looked a bit more modern. And the A4 Avant taillights from a couple of generations ago, maybe more, actually worked quite well, and it made it look less sort of like some kind of well-meaning kit car. But it was just a one-off for a customer, sort of someone who was well known to the brand, as they always say.
A friend. It's a friend of the brand.
A friend of the brand. It's friend of the brand. Yeah. Anyway, we should probably bring this to
stop talking.
A gentle stop. Yeah.
Well, why don't we put it? Let's put
Are you
it on.
quite tired? Because you're. I feel like you're quite abstract today, and I've got a hangover, and from only my second time of drinking in 2022.
I am tired today, which I was hoping I might disguise it with chat about whistling roof rails and stuff like that, but maybe it hasn't worked. But,
I don't think anyone will notice the difference. Anyway, before we go, as usual, I've got 3 things to tell you. There are 1, Jonny has a solo YouTube channel. It's called Jonny's Horse Care Channel. It's about looking after horses.
It's called Stengelmund. And it's
in which Jonny refuses to acknowledge the existence of horses and thinks they're just very big dogs you can sit on. It's well worth a watch. But if you're bored of that, go and watch the Late Break Show, which has got some excellent videos on it, including a man who has a small car collection, and of course Jonny's chat with Gordon Murray is good, well worth 40-something minutes of
thank
your
you, Richard.
time.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I've got various books out. None of them are called How to Look After Your Horse. Haven't done that one yet. One of them is called Boring Car Trivia 3, but you probably knew that by now as well. And the third thing I've got to tell you is that goats don't have top front teeth.
Don't they?
They have a pad, a very hard pad there, and that does the job.
But can't they eat things like thistles and metal?
Yeah, they'll eat anything, won't they?
They will.
Batteries.
They will.
Baseball caps,
crockery,
cricket balls, crockery. Crockery would be easy for a goat. They'd be like, that's like goat chewing gum. They'd have no challenge with a lovely Royal Dalton plate or something.
That's the John Peel session right there. Next to the session is the goat bit crockery. Here we go.
Yeah,
gosh.
They're daft bastards, aren't they, goats? They really will just eat anything, and they constantly sort of feel like they're trying to pickpocket you as well. Have you ever been in a pen of goats? They have no respect for personal space whatsoever.
Well, and they don't blink, which freaks me out. They seem not to blink. Anything that doesn't blink fundamentally troubles me because I worry about its eyes getting too dry.
Yeah.
So, I'm a bit fearful of goats, I'm not going to lie. They do have a stare about them, don't they?
Yeah. Stare, weird teeth, as it turns out, and they eat plates for fun. So,
but you know what?
They're idiots.
They're the envy of Land Rover's R&D department because they can climb over anything.
I suppose that is true.
Yeah.
I mean, now you're mentioning it, we're listing the qualities of goats. They are weird, aren't they? They're a weird animal.
Well, they're Satan, allegedly, aren't they? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm starting to see why that might be believed, because there's something unnatural about them. No blinking, no teeth at the top. How's that goat got up on the dado rail?
Have you seen goats climbing dams? Have you seen a goat? If you ever go on YouTube and type in goat climbing dam, it's just unbelievable. He makes any off-road vehicle look completely shit.
Yeah.
There we go. On that side of things, that winds up the podcast. Thank you. If you're already a Patreon for us, you will have listened to this earlier than most other people. And Richard,
normals.
Richard writes down a selection of footnotes, and if you want to get any merch for Smith and Stuff, we sell merch and basic things like cups and T-shirts. And we will be adding to
basically,
the merch.
yeah. If you've got a goat and it needs feeding, why not feed it some Smith and Sniff items?
That's a great
such
idea.
As mugs,
crockery, yes,
taps, T-shirts.
yes.
There's a metal mug as well. They might have a bit of trouble with that, but probably not that much trouble.
They won't have any
we
trouble
all know
with
what
it.
Goats are like.
There's no trouble.
Waste disposal.
No trouble with that.
There we go. Smith and Sniff podcast and goat food. Well then, there we go. We'll do this all again next week. Until then, thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Thanks and goodbye.